Well, last week's winter weather is really taking its toll on school districts across North Alabama. Joining us now is Florence City Schools Superintendent Dr. Jimmy Shaw. Dr. Shaw, going on 8 days out of school. Safety, though, is first and foremost on everyone's minds when it comes to closing school or going on a delayed opening.
It is, and it's one of the most controversial decisions that we make, but it's also one of the most important decisions we have to make. We have to make a decision as a whole. Can a good portion of our student body not be safe in traveling to school? And it's always a painstaking, tough decision.
And you guys are you want to open, you've got all these other tools, but at the end of the day, safety, and if these roads still have ice on it, it's too dangerous for you guys to risk parents and buses out on the roads.
Yeah, buses are key. So anytime we have a weather event like with ice, I have about 5 areas in which I check. One of the very first areas I usually check is Fairground Road, leading to Harlan Elementary School. I have Stovall Drive where I check going into Forest Hills Elementary School. I have the area around W.C. Handy Early Child Development Center. I check Bradshaw Drive. I check Hanson Drive for Hibbett. I check many places, and when I come to one of those places that I can't travel on myself in my truck, then I know that the average driver is going to have some issues, and our buses are going to have issues. And at the end of the day, I can't pull back somebody's health.
What does this do for planning and for the curriculum? We're trying to get students to get their lessons. Teachers are now having to adjust. What does something like this do for your district in terms of learning?
My principals have been texting and email me very concerned because it basically makes us punt almost 2 weeks of lessons, right? And so we have to kick it down the road. You don't throw it away, but you do have to push it down the road and adjust our pacing and alignment. And that is the tough work that teachers will have to do. I will say this, attendance last year was not good for us. And so I'm hoping that this year attendance is much better. I hope that the next few weeks from now, until spring break at least, for sure, we have 95 or above attendance in our district, because it is important for our students to be in school, and we don't take the days out very, very lightly.
Making the decision to be in school, in-person learning versus the virtual capabilities, was there talk about potentially going virtual at any point?
So here's the deal with virtual. Our 7th through 12th grade students all have devices that they carry home. Our K-6 babies, students also have devices, but if we didn't send them home with the students, we couldn't go virtual. And the other thing I'll say about this is 2 years ago, we had a nasty ice storm and we went virtual, and lots of people lost internet connection, lots of people lost power. And so there was great angst at that moment about students not being able to get lessons or do lessons, great angst about classes being on totally different pages within the room because some students could and some students couldn't. At the end of the day, if we had the devices sent home, would we have taken some virtual days? We would have. But I would also say this, our state superintendent, Dr. Eric Mackey, has pushed me very hard and others about a virtual day should look like several hours of instruction. He mentioned up to 6 hours of instruction. And so our virtual days have not looked like that. Should we have some instruction? Yes. That's why we bought the devices, to be able to do that. But this is just one of those anomalies that we couldn't.
Well, Florence City Schools will reopen tomorrow at their regularly scheduled time. However, we want to note Lauderdale and Colbert County schools will remain closed tomorrow. You can find those details right now on waytv.com and on our Way 31 News app.